This interview is brought to you by O2 Vape, your premium source for innovative vape pen technology, including the exclusive Flip Platinum. Enter promo code MyMMANews at www.o2vape.com for 20% off your purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, to my Marijuana Chronicles, the show that brings you cannabis activists competing inside the cage from around the globe. Adam Christ here with another edition of My Marijuana Chronicles for MyMMAnews.com with Angelina Blessed. I see the Blessed mug. I see the Blessed. We got everything blessed here. I'm honored to have you. So first and foremost, you're a Muay Thai fighter. You have Blessed edibles. You've been there, done that. How are you? And thank you for joining me.
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great honor to be here. So
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. So we were texting beforehand, and you said that you were going to be cooking in the kitchen today. So what is going on in the Blessed Edibles kitchen today?
I was doing some chocolate making with a good friend of mine today, and we were making some really beautiful vegan 66% dark chocolates, sitting at about 10 milligrams of THC, but the THC that we're using is an absolute beautiful full spectrum RSO. So these are absolutely full spectrum, full of love, all the good things of the THC that we need for healing and for performance.
So like I said, we've been texting, and we go a little bit further back as far as, our fight community. It's a small world. It's a small community. But with the fighters that are now coming out in their usage of THC and cannabis, it's coming full circle, and I love how it's going on. So take us a little bit further back. When did you start getting involved in cannabis, and why did you start getting involved?
I was about 9 years into my Muay Thai experience. I was training at a gym in Toronto, and I was always watching the champion fighters. They were going outside during our training sessions, and they were smoking cannabis, and I didn't understand it, and I totally kind of put all that stigma bullshit together, and but I wasn't understanding. I thought they were just kind of stoners, and I wasn't understanding, and they may not have even been understanding at the time that they were medicating themselves too. So I would watch them smoke, and then they would go for their 10-kilometer run, and then they would come back in and do all their clinch work. And I was just like, how are they doing it? They're really high. How are they doing it? Well, concussions and broken bones and cortisol level issues. I was just like, I need another route to go. So basically what I did was I started, but I knew that I didn't want to smoke weed. I smoked weed through high school, and all of the stigma shit of the burnout, whatever phase. It didn't make sense to me because I was feeding myself so healthy. I was staying within a weight category for fighting. And I was just like, why would I try to eat something, or why would I smoke? So I didn't want to smoke weed. And so I started making butter, and the butter I made into cookies. And then I realized there were no healthy edibles on the market. And so I started just kind of feeding my cookies to the boys that I was training with, and everybody was sleeping better and feeling better. And I was finally getting through the night, because like when you're sparring and whatnot, and you're kind of tossing and turning, your body hurts. And every time you roll over, you wake up a little bit. So you're not getting that really good REM kind of sleep. So all of a sudden I was sleeping a little better, and then things got a little better. And I started to go to Float Toronto and hit the sensory deprivation tank about 5 years ago. And between floating and eating cannabis, my body kind of healed itself. So I knew there was a bit of a story there. And I didn't start this to make a brand or go legal or anything like that. I was just trying to help myself and friends. So it's a really cool story, like when it comes down to it. But I'm just happy that I've been able to treat myself and been able to continue training at the level that I'm training at. So it's
when did you decide that you wanted to make it like an actual like commitment, something you actually want to go legal with, and make it a business venture?
Well, we stayed on the black market until about 2 years ago, and I never felt comfortable on the black market. I never really felt like it was where I belonged, because I was an athlete. I didn't want to sell drugs. I didn't want to like feel nervous. I didn't want anything to kind of do with anything like that. I was a raver a long time ago. I had enough of that vibe like years ago. So it was, I closed down shop because I just didn't like how it felt. And it was being introduced to the kind of right people. So there were a lot of investors that were out there that were looking for a proper fit for me. And then I met some guys and these venture capitalists, and we ended up getting along really, really, really well together. And they really believe in the product. So those venture capitalists became investors themselves in my product. And then we started a really great company. So I haven't produced edibles for sale for a few years now, but I still make for myself and friends until we can get into the proper legal kitchen. So now we have all the funding, we've raised the cash, and we're ready to go.
So how has it transitioned into your fighting? By that meaning, like, what has it helped as far as you go? Everybody has their ailments. You know, some people might have, you know, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, you know, anxiety going into the battle in itself. There's so many facets. What exactly is, you know, I guess your issues with it, and why do you use it to better assist you?
I was having horrific cortisol level issues. I would be falling asleep really hard at like 10 p.m. And then I would wake up at 3 a.m. so wide awake until like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then at 5 o'clock, the most tired I'd ever felt. So that was driving me crazy. When you're not sleeping, you're not eating. When you're not eating, you're not performing. And it's just like this whole cycle that would kind of start for me. I knew that something had to change within myself. And I didn't want to go. I didn't like, after a final concussion in China, I knew that I didn't want to take painkillers. I didn't want to take, and it was so weird for me for concussion that they prescribed opiates right away. So I decided not to take any of them, and I came home and I shut it right down, and I took a massive dose of THC and I took a massive dose of CBD, and I just shut it down for a few weeks. The concussion was so bad that I couldn't like touch my nose to the doctor's finger, my finger to the doctor's finger, and I had speech delays for weeks. So it was a really scary thing. And I knew that if I didn't have another option, then fighting would be finished. Now I'm older, so I shouldn't be able to kind of maintain what I'm maintaining at my age. Like everyone's like, going to slow down. I'm like, I don't know, because everything's kind of making sense for me right now. So.
And CBD and cannabis has been such a lifesaver for so many people, and it's added years, especially in the athletic realm. It's added years onto people's lives. That it's almost like a miracle that's just hit the markets, and in the right market field.
Right. With the right CBD, like I would absolutely recommend to everybody that with the right full spectrum CBD oil will help everybody. And it's just about adding the proper percentage of THC to that to really figure out what you're gonna help. If it's a little bit of anxiety, a full spectrum CBD oil would probably do really well. If you're dealing with a lot of pain, you go full spectrum, and then you figure out exactly how many milligrams of THC you would need to shut the pain down. So it is a miracle. And with the neuroprotective benefits that we're finding, so people, if you're taking two athletes and both of them are getting punched in the head, the one that's taking CBD is going to have less damage than the other. So it's absolutely going to keep us as fighters for longer, and maybe we won't have to see the things that we've seen with the older boxers in the generations with the speech impediments and the like all of the terrible things that they've.
List goes on with all the unfortunate issues that we've had to see in the past. But like I said, this is about cannabis and the mixed martial arts world, and Muay Thai is in fact one of those very, very essential keys to mixed martial arts, and you are primed in your I'm gonna say you're in your prime of fighting, because cannabis has provided you an extra essential, like, added addition in your life. Like you said I'm older now, but how much older can you be when you're adding so much extra lifespan on your years, like you said? So I want to ask you, what exactly got you into fighting to begin with? I mean, it's not exactly shooting balls into the hoop. It's not necessarily your average everyday sport. It takes a different breed to want to kick, punch, knee somebody in the face. What drives you? I mean, you're a gorgeous young lady. What makes you want to get punched in the face every day?
I was never an athlete, ever an athlete. I faked my way through track and field. I would do anything I could to kind of get out of it. Now, my energy has always been really high, so when I stopped partying, I was like, what else am I going to do? So I started running. Well, that wasn't enough, and I didn't know enough. And then I ended up at a gym, and Ajahn Suchard, who was one of the who was the man who brought Muay Thai to North America like 30 odd years ago. He happened to be a personal trainer. So a couple of sessions with him, and I'm like, okay, I went through a breakup and I got on a plane and went to Thailand. Now, I had never been on a plane. I had never, like besides in Canada, and it scared the crap out of me. I ended up in Chiang Mai in 2006, pre-Wi-Fi in Sangkampang, Chiang Mai. And basically, I was only like maybe a year into training at that time, and fighting wasn't something that was in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the trainers were like, just do it. I had barely even sparred at that point. So, of course, it was ugly. And then after it, I had, from blocking a kick, I had chipped my, the bone in my leg. So, like you fall, the adrenaline drops, you fall out of the ring after I won by knee in the third round. But my trainer said, technique, not so good. Heart, 100%. So, you can kind of go with that. But after that fight, I stepped out of the ring. I'm like, that was mental. I am never doing that again.
Yeah.
Then 3 or 4 months later, I smelled the Thai oil. I heard the music, and I'm like, I have to do this. Now, it is the hardest, scariest, most insane thing I could possibly think of doing. Is that why I'm stuck with it for 14 years? Maybe. But it's really, this whole time I kind of thought it was about making my body stronger. But it's mental. And the more people that I meet that do Muay Thai, the more people, like foreigners everywhere around the world, we're all kind of squirrely. And, like my coach calls me squirrel. But for me, it's mental health. And for me, it's being in the gym and being part of something and making myself a better person every day. So it is super, super challenging. But it fulfills me and the people that I'm with. Yeah. Totally.
Oh, look at that little precious away.
He's involved. There he is.
That's funny.
This is Anthony Bourdain. Yeah.
Another fun thing about Muay Thai that I love, and like I said, we were texting beforehand, and I told you, I come from a stand-up background as well. And the one thing I love through and through about Muay Thai that a lot of times you don't see with other combat sports is you see a lot of the trash talking with boxing, with MMA, with everything. In Muay Thai, it's so much humble and respect and just about honor. And like you can go in and have the hardest fight and knock someone out, completely concussed, help them up, and then your best friend's having a beer right in the back, or your water, or whatever you need to do.
Yep.
And I find that absolutely beautiful. It's a testament of people's will, their mental fortitude, their capabilities, and just overall humanity. And I love that about the combat sport, because it just goes to show that you don't have to be an asshole to be an ass kicker. And I love that. Why do you think that is?
Muay Thai is based in Buddhism, and it's so heavily not about that. Like the back rooms at Rajamadarn Stadium or at Lumpini Stadium, the blue corner and the red corner get ready beside each other. Like there's no separation there. You're talking to your opponent. You're watching him get his hands wrapped. Like it's just part of everyday culture for them. They hug before the fight. They show respect. They hug after the fight. They go over, they show the coaches respect. It's a beautiful thing.
It
now,
is.
I was doing Muay Thai before I started watching MMA. Not that I'm, no offense, I'm not the biggest fan, but because I'm super stand-up. But when I heard people trash talking, it was really weird for me. And I hadn't experienced that before, especially in Thailand. Everyone was really, really respectful. Now, I got booed in Calgary fighting the hometown girl, and some cowboy, like full real cowboy, was like, bitch, I hope you get fucked up. I'm like, this is really, like, really? I'm 116 pounds and you're shouting at me? Like, so it is lost on a lot of people, and I don't think it has to be about that. I love Muay Thai because it is filled with respect, and I would never have something to say about my opponent. When I fought in Chachoengsao, Thailand, 2000 and, I don't know, but I fought for Porpramuk. So that was the gym that Balkau was at. So I got to fight for them twice, which is really awesome. But I got knocked out in the first fight. And then 9 days later, I had to fight again, but my corner didn't show up. So I'm in a military field with 2,000 Thai military dudes for the king's birthday and no corner. So the girl that knocked me out 9 days earlier cornered me. Didn't speak a word of English, but we hugged it out and we just made it happen. And I won that fight. But, you know, the respect level is so high. It is really a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah. And why do you make the trip so often? You said you've been, what, 15 times now?
Yeah. It'll be 16 Christmas Day I leave. So when I started fighting, there was Muay Thai and MMA was still illegal in Toronto. So the only fight options were demos. And, you know, both people getting their hand raised. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. I guess it's experience. But for some reason, I just wasn't into it. So, you know, that first year I went to Thailand, and then every year I kind of went back and fought again. I only have 3 Canadian fights, and the rest were in Asia and Mexico. So I just, it's more real. It's more respectful. It's more traditional. It's more, I also like the thought of kind of stepping into the ring and not knowing anybody there. Like, so it really was, because it really was my own journey, where if I got knocked out, on me. If I got, you know, like, I don't know, I really enjoyed fighting by myself and putting myself kind of through that test. Yeah.
So that doesn't bother you at all, without any kind of support system, just all the pressure on you. I mean, let's say, obviously you have a support system, you have family, you have friends, everything like that. But like you said, like when you're in the foreign land and you don't have much communication over here, and you don't have like your own personal corner, everything like that. Like you said, it's your personal journey. It's you there. So I mean, that doesn't bother
my coach, I'd call my coach after, you know, like I'd be in the middle of the field, I'd call him, like I did really great or whatever, and I guess that's kind of how I was raised, though. I was kind of raised very independently too. So maybe no pressure of the family is easier for me, you know. So like my parents have never seen me fight.
Wow.
No, I my sister just had her first boxing fight, and my dad and stepmom came to that, and it was really cute because, you know, they're like in their 70s, and you know, my dad had never seen a fight before, so it was cool. But like obviously my dad had never come to Asia to watch me fight, so you know.
So fighting runs in the Blessed family now, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, she just had her first little thing. It was good, but it was hard to watch her fight because, you know, she's my baby sister. So we have.
Where did this fight take place?
What's that?
I said, how old is she? Where did this fight take place? Anything?
I was in Toronto. It was it was like a bartender boxing bout thing. So they got a bunch of servers together. They gave them 12 weeks of training, and yeah, it was hard to watch her fight. She's my baby sister.
So how different would you compare fighting? Like you said, you fought in Mexico, you fought in Canada, and you fought in, obviously,
China and Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah, Thailand. So what's the vast differences you can say from each place that you fought?
Thailand, it's the least amount of pressure. Like there's pressure within the fight, but it's so everyday. It's their everyday shit. So they don't get as wrapped up into it as we do. You know, those fighters, those Thai boys are fighting at least once a month. So it's just like what they're doing. You know, it's just their everyday. Mexico in Guadalajara was like basically fighting in a dogfighting cage. It was like a decrepit old like industrial area. I'm like, okay, somebody is going to get shot or die here. It was.
Oh no.
Now I lost that fight. But there's a really great picture of my opponent after the fight where she's actually on the ground. So they actually raised her hand while she was sitting in her corner. So I guess in Mexico, if you don't kill them, they win. But that was my last fight and the fight that I enjoyed the most because I threw like 4 or 5 Superman punches and they landed. And I felt good in the ring, and that was exciting. China was a really scary ride. So it was Team Canada versus Team China. So me and Simon Marcus and Matt Embry and a bunch of really cool people went down, and you know they took Team China and let them rest in the hotel room, and then Team Canada had to go to all of these tourist things, and we were all cutting weight on a bus, and then there wasn't food, and you guys don't have water, and we got lost, and then they put us in like a parking lot, and we're in the bus, and just so everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Right.
And it was also a really creepy vibe of we felt like we were being watched the entire time. So where we were in the Yunnan province, I feel like foreigners had not been there before. Everywhere we went, people were just taking their phones out and putting it right in our face. It was aggressive. And we were told like, we're going there basically to lose. So, 4 of the 5 of us lost those fights. I fought that was like my 10th fight. I fought a girl with 60 fights. She was on the Chinese national boxing team. Like,
yeah.
Like when she hit me, and I trained with mostly boys, but when she hit me, my whole life was just like, yeah, this isn't going to be okay. So I'm in a bit of trouble. But.
So I wanted to ask you, with Thailand, I'm not obviously too familiar, never been there, but you've been there plenty of times. The weed and the weed laws. Let's talk about it.
It's crazy. Excuse me.
You're fine.
This is a Shatterizer. I don't know if you've heard of these before. This is a little Canadian thing. So I'm smoking diamonds out of it, if you know what that is. But
yeah.
So weed culture in Thailand is a really crazy thing. So my last trip was paid for by a really great company, because basically we were going down for medical legalization, where we knew that the first cannabis oils were being dropped in the hospital while we were there. So that was really, really exciting. You want to talk stigma? The stigma of cannabis there is equivalent to cocaine or crack. Like it's they think it's so bad. So if you see like some of the protests that are happening there, like in the more touristy areas, people are absolutely more open to talking about it. And I think with legalization there, what will happen is that they're going to legalize it in tourist areas once they really figure out what the benefits will be, especially financially for Thailand. Like they're going to be like, oh shit, we're going to make a ton of money, and I'm sure that's going to legalize some things. Now, I was spending time at Pechandi in Bangkok, and that gym has and will forever change my life. I could not talk to the trainers about cannabis just because they don't really even know what I'm talking about. It's so foreign to them. But I could absolutely talk to all of the Phalang, the foreigner people that are training, and they all have understanding of what's happening, and they're all really excited to talk about it. So it's a really great place for me to go and talk about cannabis, and a really great place for me to talk to foreigners from all over the world about the benefits of what we're doing.
See, I find that, I mean, with the stigma too, well, getting into the stigma, that the protests and whatnot reminds me is when my parents found out that I smoked marijuana. Man, they thought I was just as hardcore as a druggie as you can imagine, just marijuana. But hey. But and then I got medically approved for it, and then all of a sudden it became the world's best drug. But you know what? Hey, I digress. But
anyway. My parents never really understood what I was doing, and then all of a sudden, Dad was taking chocolate bars to the book club, and it's great. So we're getting all these older ladies not for away from alcohol, and now they're having a square of chocolate, and it's well dosed, and they're not scared, and they're having a great time. And if we can help everyone in the world sleep a little bit better, rest a little more, like how can that be a bad thing?
Yeah, but like you were saying with Thailand, I find it, like you were saying, it was a little bit foreign over there. I find it different with Muay Thai being based on Buddhism, everything like that, and it being such a spiritual background. You see a lot of spiritual people, especially in Buddhism, them taking their practice with cannabis and everything. So I find it a little surprising that cannabis is not so known or popular over there, if you will.
I don't know what it's like to walk down the streets in Delaware, but basically everyone on Queen Street in Toronto is smoking weed.
Dude, no, Delaware, no.
Like Toronto reeks of weed. So for me to be in Thailand and not smell it is really weird. For me to be and not seeing it, I found one store and they sold bongs, and he was super excited to talk to me about it, but it was a random store. I don't even know what people would be smoking in it. Now, there is a lot of Thai stick there. I can find weed in Thailand, but it's usually pretty crap, and definitely not worth the risks. You can basically go to a reggae bar, somebody will roll you a joint. It'll cost you about $10 to $15. There's usually tobacco in it. But the rule is you can smoke it at the club, but don't leave with it, because the cops are just waiting. They're basically just a setup. So not really worth it while I'm there, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I wanted to ask, obviously we see you're all tatted out and everything like that. What's the difference with the Sakyong Tat and the traditional tat? I heard there's horror stories with the pain. Can you go ahead and go into detail about that?
Well, my first, the first one on my neck is the super traditional bamboo Sakyong Tat. And then I was introduced to a really great guy in Phuket named Bird, and he was a monk apprentice. And so he does single needle, and as opposed to the bamboo tapping or the steel rod tapping. Now, if you go to any of the traditional temples, the monks have a gross bucket of dirty ink water that they keep this thing in, and they're going from person to person to person to person. There's no cleaning involved, and I am extremely spiritual, and I would consider myself extremely Buddhist, but I do not believe that the strength of HIV is of Buddhism. So, do I get single needle? Do I get single needle Sakyong Tats? I do. She puts a clean needle in. I feel good about it. He is still chanting and praying over me the entire time. It's a little bit different, but I have had the full experience either way. But I do like how the single needle looks, as opposed to how the single needle looks as opposed to the bamboo. The bamboo kind of blows out a little bit in ink.
Okay.
You can see.
Ah. Wow, that's gorgeous. All to the back.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So every time that I would fight in Thailand, my trainers would take me to the monks, and they pick it for you. So if it's protection, if it's strength, if it's security, if it's love, if it's charm, they pick it, they place it on you, they bless you with it, and you're always in the ring with a brand new fucking open tattoo, which is really crazy, but worth it because it shows my path, and I can tell you, where I was fighting, when I was fighting. Now, these ones were done the last time, and these were definitely for Float Toronto, which is really cool because he picked them even though he didn't know that, my affiliation with the sensory deprivation place in Toronto. But it's me. This one on my finger, this is what they call the strong arrow. The strong arrow. So he asked me in Thai if I was left-handed or right-handed. So I said that I'm a southpaw. So he put this on my left hand. He said, this will straighten out my punch. This guy here was for strength. So this tiger here, he said, this is for strength. So he said, when you punch, all of that's going to turn over. So really, it was really calculated to him, which is really cool. And I felt that it was picked for me. So it's been a really special journey. So my best friend, Rob, who does the rest of my tattoos. So I'm like armpit to knees, fully tattooed, full bum included. But so he's picked them all for me. He's the guy that designed the tattoos for the Suicide Squad. So all of, is it Jared Leto's, like the damaged and the ha and all of that. So he did all of that work. So I'm really lucky that he, he tattoos me in Toronto, and then, takes care of like Fast and Furious and Suicide Squad in his spare time. So, I have like an Oscar tattoo.
Your illustrious journey is just, it has my jaw dropped. It's just it's inspiring. It's awesome. I will say one thing. I got to give you credit. I think you're doing the wiser thing by getting the single needle opposed to that HIV system.
A lot of people really shit on it, saying, well, it's not traditional. It's not that. I'm like, yeah, but, I'm not carrying any diseases. So, I feel like I'm winning on this one. Right. So,
So moving on, South by Southwest, I heard rumors. It's on you to disclose anything you want to. I don't want to say anything wrong or anything I'm not supposed to. All you, homegirl, spit it out. Tell us what you need to. What's going on with you in South by Southwest, maybe?
I've been asked to be on a panel at South by Southwest. This is the first of its kind going on at this incredible function. Basically, we're going to be talking about cannabis and athletics, and I'm really, really excited about it. So, yeah,
that'd be awesome. So, what do you think? How honoring is it for you to bring your knowledge and full plethora of combat sports and Muay Thai into the realm of cannabis, because it's such a new field of medicine that's now finally the stigma's getting taken away, and it's like the band-aids being ripped off, and the people are finally getting to understand it. And here you are right on the forefront, the sweet, innocent Muay Thai fighter, ass kicker coming straight out of Muay Thai, heading in the South by Southwest panel and talking some weed. It's got to be humbling. It's got to be great.
It's incredible. And I I pinch myself a lot of days where it just feels like I can't really believe that it's happening.
Yeah.
I've had such an incredible journey of being on panels with people like Ricky Williams and having like Chinese doctor treatments by him. Him and I have become kind of good buddies. And, you know, just being able to really stand up for athletes all over the world has been it's been awesome. I don't know why it's my story that got to kind of come out, but I'm really, really grateful that it did. And you know, the next year of my life is going to be a lot more podcasts and panels and all of that stuff where I get to really go around and truly educate people with like this legal product, which is really cool. So things are only going to go from here. And even though it's been like a crazy whirlwind, and like a year and a half ago was just questioning whether or not I could do it at all, because I wanted to stop because it was costing me too much money, and I was still a hairstylist at that time. So, you know, it was really tough. Yeah. But we're making it, and I'm blessed, you know. So.
I was gonna say, so you truly are what blessed means.
Yeah.
The presence of blessed. So I want to do a little quick before we let you go. I want to do a little quick lightning round.
Okay.
Fire off some stuff for you, and I want you to just fire. You can take your time. You can fire off what comes to your head. I just want you to say as quick as possible and as knowledgeable as possible. Favorite strain and why? Go.
Ooh, favorite strain.
It can be right now. It doesn't have to be ever. It could be what you're working with now.
We got Annihilator. We got Bruce Banner. No. Oh, come on. Hey, any of the hazes. I'm gonna go full haze. Yeah. Any of the hazes. Where's my camera?
There we are.
There we are.
Beautiful nugget for you.
Yeah. So any of the hazes. I love to train Super Silver Haze, Lemon Haze, any of those guys. Training is impeccable. You can't just sit in your house on it though. You'll squirrel out. So
yeah. Super Lemon.
Yeah. Yeah. Any of the hazes for sure.
Favorite way to consume?
Oil. Eating oil.
Indica or sativa?
Sativa.
Favorite kind of music to listen to while stoned?
Drum and bass.
All right. If you had to watch any kind of movie genre, what would it be while stoned and why?
Movie genre?
Yes.
Comedy. Always. Keep it light. Yeah.
Keep it light. Favorite fighter?
Ooh. Sam A.
How would you prefer to win? By knockout? Knee, elbow, kick, punch. Favorite technique?
Liver kick.
Liver kick? Why liver?
No. You ever seen somebody go down from a liver kick?
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
You're talking about like taking the fucking life out of them. Jesus, you're a killer.
It's Muay Thai. Should have
You are a killer. Man, here I was thinking you're a sweetheart. No.
You haven't met Evan Boris. That's my trainer. He would be happy about that. Liver kick all day. Make them go down. They don't want to get back up.
I do love that, and I always like to see that when somebody gets hit in the body, and it's like, here comes 3, 2, and there goes the knee.
We just filmed this really great commercial for a company called Strain Print, and my guy was filming with me, and he's a southpaw as well. He's an MMA fighter, but he always has to keep me in check because I am so squirrely and I go hard. Like, I'm not super controlled when I spar, so I have to spar with people that can kind of keep me in check. So, you know, coach yells out 7 more seconds. Nate lands a liver kick on me that is so bad, and of course they catch it all on video. I'll have to send you the link, but it's you know, I thought I stood up for a second, but no, I ate the ground pretty hard. But you know, I think there's not much more damaging than a liver kick, because even though you're strong in your mind, you go down no matter what, right?
No matter what. It's funny. I don't know if you know, he fights on Friday Night Fights, Brahma Kamara. Ever heard of him by chance? Mm-hmm. Okay, relatively newer. He's relatively new in his pro career anyway. But tough kid. I've seen him take so many shots, like head kicks, everything you can imagine. And then he took a spinning liver kick. And it was one of those where he was like, man, I felt like I was like, dude, there's no, anybody would have dropped to that.
Well, your body just shuts down. So like, yeah, like you just shut the fuck down. So yeah.
So 2 times in your life that you were happy that you were have weed there as a saving grace, and then another time where you're like, fuck, I wish I wasn't high for this. So the good and the bad.
Well, with edibles, it can kind of surprise you, right? So
Yeah.
I take really high doses of edibles at night.
Yeah.
And I just kind of shut my day down. And that's what I do. I have anyways. So a few weeks ago, took my nighttime dose, and then my guy called me and he's like, hey, can you come meet me? I didn't even think that I had taken my oil. So I hop in an Uber, I make it out to see him. We're in the middle of a heavy conversation, and I'm just like, he's like, what? I'm like, you need to put me in an Uber. I need to fucking go right now. So that was the bad one. You know what? The good one happens on a daily basis. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really name too many situations. You know, like I could name some bad situations of while I was experimenting, finding about dose. You know, like I had a lot of really hard naps. You know, like while I was while I was doing all of my research and development, there was just, you know, those times of like, oh, took too much. Oh, shouldn't lick that. You know, so like, but that's.
But that's all part of the learning process of how you
part of my learning process, and that's what's given me the experience. You know, so.
Yeah.
I would say the best of the best, is edibles and either training or edibles and the sensory deprivation tank. Edibles in the sensory deprivation tank can take you to a whole other level of leaving your body, feeling truly relaxed. It's kind of the closest to going back to the womb as any experience that we could possibly get on this earth. So, yeah, so.
And obviously, I mean, not everybody has the access of full legalization. Like, you know, here in the States, we're going through,
right.
You know, legalization as far as, you know, recreational, this, that, and, you know what's going on. So what would you say for somebody that, I mean, there's so many people here that, for lack of better words, they could maybe potentially use cannabis in their life, but they don't have the resources. Somebody that might be interested in seeking out that kind of benefit. What would you suggest to somebody that's thinking about trying cannabis for the first time?
You know, it's slow and low. Like it's, you know, like I think about all the last times that I kind of smoked weed in high school before I had stopped. They were all really bad experiences because as THC levels kind of were getting higher, it becomes more of a psychedelic or kind of scary sort of experience for people. Now, if once you have the access to things like really great strains or CBD or things like that, it becomes a much more safe journey. Now, if I had access to a good CBD full spectrum oil, that's where I think everybody should start. You know, like I wouldn't want my mom just to go to some random dispensary and pick up some sativa and lose her mind because she would, right? So it's really going to be about slowly medicating people. You know, like the weed from Woodstock was like 6% THC. You know, now, you know, my friends are growing 30% strains. So, you know, if you're not comfortable with that, that'd be like me going and chugging a whole thing of vodka. You know, like I could have a sip of it and maybe feel pretty good, or I could drink the whole bottle and like lose my life, right? So, you know, cannabis isn't even going to have as bad side effects as alcohol, obviously, but there's still the you just have to be careful, you know, like I wish everybody could have a really like one-to-one cannabis oil, you know, and start kind of their journey there as opposed to just trying to go smoke some, you know, super lemon haze or something. So,
right. Well, I want to close it down. Any way that people and fans can keep up with you as far as social media goes? How can they can follow you? Maybe potentially getting back in the ring. We can all be hopeful for it.
So I'm heading back to Thailand for Christmas Day. So I'm really happy to go kind of give myself an 8-week fight camp up until I go. And then I'll be at Pechandi in Bangkok for the month, which is super dope and a crazy learning experience there. You can reach me at angelina.blessed on Instagram or at Blessed Edibles, one word, on Instagram. I'm at Blessed Vung, which is Veung on Twitter. That means love in Isan. So, yeah, all of that. Yeah, you can reach me there. You can reach me there anytime. So
awesome. Well, Angelina, I really appreciate you taking the time. I love this camaraderie that we have, especially with the fight community, especially with cannabis coming out and being almost like the wave of the future as far as medicating goes. I'm so happy to see you being like almost like at the forefront of like South by Southwest on your panel, doing your thing and whatnot. So again, I appreciate you taking the time. It's been a real pleasure. It's been an honor for me, and sharing some of your knowledge is it's been enlightening. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Kapun ka.
There she goes, Angelina Blessed. She has blessed edibles. She is getting ready to go back to Muay Thai, and she was so gracious with some of her time to join us here at My Marijuana Chronicles, and we do appreciate it. For Angelina Blessed, I am Adam Christ. Make sure you keep it locked to MyMMAnews.com for all your fight news needs, and you can hit o2vape.com and use promo code MyMMAnews and get 20% off your purchase. And check out our interview with Angelina, MyMMAnews.com. Peace out.
Awesome.